I need us to build up our own spiritual court so that we are protected. We're shielded from the fake, from the fraudulent, from the abusive, from the predatory, from the liars and the thieves and the crooks and the charlatans. All right? But none of that would matter if you are true to your truth. Because a lot of people turn their backs on their own truth. You don't need to be validated by any other human being but yourself and your own ancestors and your elders. Okay? People want to see. How does that? Come on, y'all. Come on. People prey on you. They see that as a weakness. And they know, and they make a beeline to you. Oh, you've been invited to initiate to my thing. And if you bring in 5 friends, you're going to get a blessing. And they just want you to ask for your money. Sometimes it's the money and your spiritual essence. Sometimes they don't want to get their hands dirty and they're foul as fuck and they want to do dirty things, but they don't want it tracing back to them. So they're going to send their lackeys out to do the thing, their minions out to do the thing. So if there's any blowback, it's going to go directly to the one that did it and not the one that ordered it. Okay? So please stay away. Keep yourself grounded in your truth. You don't need to join a damn thing. What you really need to be doing is boosting up your own lineages. A lot of y'all are becoming prepped and primed right now to reclaim what was lost in your own family lines, y'all. And that means starting up your own house for your own family and building communities with other houses and doing righteous work that affects us all in a positive way. Doing righteous work that gets rid of the evil shit, the bad behavior in our own families and communities. Okay? Because it's really fucked up if we, want blessings, we want love and prosperity, but we still got people right in our families, right in our own homes that are doing fuck shit to us or others. Okay? Black community is known for looking the other fucking way when it comes to abuses. There's this whole, don't snitch shit, don't snitch, don't yell, or you lying, I don't believe you anyway, yada, 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 I don't want to hear it. And it's fucked up. But it's horrible for a person to have that experience just to join some place that they think is going to empower them and heal them. Just to fall victim to the same shit all over again. I'm aware of, folks being very outspoken about the things that happened with this group, the Myriad, and not just with that group, the Myriad, but others as well, where people were party to crimes against other black people, harms against other black people in the forms of, stealing money, lying on each other, fighting, and then the cursing and the hexing that resolves from that shit, which usually is over some petty bullshit, which, are we children here or are we grown-ass adults? Makes you wonder. But for all of the, rabble-rousing and infighting and exposure that was going on, let me just say this. You really got to stop giving so much energy to people just because they're on the goddamn internet. Especially if you've never been in a personal space before. If you're just going by how somebody looks, if you're just going by how they style themselves, if you're just going by their fancy little pictures of candles and shit, everything looks like merchandising. If you're just looking at how many people follow them, you're looking at, testimonials, especially if these are testimonials that they share versus word of mouth from people that actually had good experiences with them. It can give you a personal referral. All right. Someone told me I needed to have personal testimonials on my website, and I bought into the shit, and it just didn't feel right to me. It just didn't feel right to me. It really did not. I like personal referrals, not what somebody I don't even know has to say about somebody or their work or their divination or whatever the case may be. Okay? It never felt right. So when I see people doing it, promoting what people say about their own shit, it just has I don't know. It just don't feel right. That doesn't mean they're lying. No, it just doesn't feel right. That's just me. Okay? You need to look beyond all them shiny things. Y'all be acting like goddamn magpies out here in these spiritual streets. Magpies, always drawn to the next glittery thing. And I get it. I understand. See, my generation, we didn't grow up with social media like some of y'all did. So our relationship to it is going to be different. Us old folk. Okay? Our relationship to social media is not going to be the same. We don't put as much stock into it and the people behind the profiles like a lot of younger folks do. I understand. Okay? It's more meaningful for some of y'all than it is for some of us. So whatever they posting up, we got to take it for the truth. Whereas I look at shit and like whatever they posting up, I'm taking it with a motherfucking grain of salt. You see? So, yeah. Stop being so motherfucking superficial with the things of the spirit. Okay? Hoodoo has no look. You understand me? Hoodoo is not monolithic. It covers all Black Americans. We don't all look the same. We don't all move the same. We don't all talk the same. We don't all dress the same. We're not all into the same shit. We don't all listen to the same music. We're not into all the, but we're all Hoodoo. I don't care if you're a Black Buddhist, you're still Hoodoo. You were Hoodoo first before you became a Buddhist. Becoming a Buddhist, maybe it was a personal choice for a lot of you, but you're still Hoodoo. You don't have to agree with me, but that's just it. That's facts. That's just facts. Okay? What about the individual? I know one person who did not descend from enslaved Africans. They descend from free people who were still oppressed because of the color of their skin. Okay? But they were granted their freedom in the Caribbean before they were brought over here. And they were able to still move in the spaces as free people of color. And the question was, well, because I don't descend from enslaved Africans who weren't working on the plantations and, dealt with all of that reality, does that mean I'm not Hoodoo? Yes, you're still Hoodoo. Because you're still an amalgam of all those different groups that lived this way where they did not separate themselves from spirit. We got conditioned into that by our oppressors. Okay? But being free, a free African, doesn't mean you're divorced from your truth about your cultural and spiritual tradition. So if you descended here by Black people who may not have been enslaved, but they still had to live through that colorism. They had to live through the racism. They had to live through Jim Crow, just like everybody else post-emancipation. We have that same reality. Okay? You're still Hoodoo. You're still Hoodoo. Okay? So we got to stop, dealing with these people who had taken a page from the marketeer's playbook and acting like, I'm a worker, I'm a spiritualist because I'm selling you shit. No. Not to say that they can't or shouldn't, but that's not what it is, y'all. If you go on my website, you will not see shit for sale. Now, yes, at one point, my daughter was into selling her soap. And they sold out real fast. And a lot of people, wanted to know when they were going to be made of. And we had to have a long heart-to-heart about it. I'm her mother. But she's still, in that cohort that lives on social media. Okay? And takes cues from social media. And her peers. So she's more likely to, might be influenced by her peer group than her own mama. I know what that's like because I lived that. I was more influenced by my peers than I was my own mama. And that includes things of the spirit. Didn't I tell you I was a rebel? Oh, yes. So, she sees everybody selling this shit and she feels like, well, damn, I was raised up in this tradition. And look at all these people who maybe were not, and look at what they're doing, and they're making money and they're getting popularity and they're doing this and they're doing that, and I feel left out. So that whole fear of missing out shit is real on social media. Okay? It's real. So she, has done some things, wants to formulate some things, and will I sell them on my shop? And my problem with that is, I don't know who's buying it. Who's going to be on the receiving end of the package? Because basically you have no choice but to sell your stuff to whoever presents their credit card information in that transaction. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a spiritualist and I'm serious about my shit. I'm very, very protective of who gets my work. I'm very, very protective about who gets anything that I have compounded. All right? I don't do the, off the shelf thing or just sell it to anybody thing. All right? Because if I wanted to do that, then I would. I would just be someone that puts together stuff to sell. Anybody can do that. But if you're calling yourself a spiritualist and a root worker and a root doctor and a conjure person and this and that and the third, it's just odd to me that you want to put yourself as someone that can help another in their time of need in very specific ways. Are you going to sit up here and tell me that the stuff that's flying off the shelf that you putting up in packages and putting out through the mail and shit to anybody, are you telling me that same shit you're going to do you're going to use the exact same thing on the client who if it's a matter of life and death? Is that all where your power is, in your stuff? Because last time I checked, no, that's not how it works. I don't care what your so-called elders have told you. All right, because there's a lot of folks out here lying on this here tradition. The power is not in the motherfucking stuff. That's what white folks think. That's what the fuck they think. They think, oh, I just need to put, all these things together and get my candles and have this burning and that and, throw some Bible verses on it and then, go out to the crossroads and bam, I done some powerful shit. That's not how the fuck it works. Okay. If I need to do some work for you, you're going to be in the work I do. You're going to have to send me something so that these things that I'm compounding won't be keyed to me. You understand? That's how my shit works. I make something, it's going to be keyed to me. I ain't looking for no nigga. So if I do some love drawing, oil or bath or powder or whatever the fuck, I'm going to need something from you. So it will be keyed to you. It will target your intention, not mine. I really don't believe that the people out here selling shit are offering that service. Because if they did, you would, number one, have to pay way more money than they're charging. And number two, you're going to have to wait an extra long time to get your shit because you probably won't be the only one that wants it. 9 times out of 10, folk will be lined up for that, okay? So what they do is say, oh, you do it yourself. You do it yourself. Well, baby, like I said, everybody isn't in that position to do things for themselves. That's why they're seeking you out in the first place. And you're just selling them something and thinking, oh, well, I got all the power because I got this oil or I got this root or I got this thing. That's not how the fuck it works. Did your customer have a relationship with the spirits of the natural world? No. We're just going to assume that they do. And the mileage may vary. Is that what we're doing? Come on, y'all. Let's start putting respect on this tradition. Let's start telling truths about this tradition. And be careful who you share your truth with. I just found out recently that a lot of the stuff that I talk about on my podcast, the things that I have posted up on my blog, the things that I have shared on my Facebook, have entered the writing published books of white folks. Now, I'm very, very careful about what I share on social media. What I try to do is give enough information to make us, y'all, understand that they're out here lying. So what I do is try to bust up their lie. But it's not enough for me to tell you, well, that's wrong, and not tell you why it's wrong. So I have to give you something to let you know where they're coming from is wrong. But what I'm not going to do is give you the whole. I'm not going to give you the spiritual competency part, because I know these motherfuckers are watching. They're data mining mine and possibly yours. They're data mining your creative content. So because I'm aware of my posts, I'm aware of what I have said and not, there are certain things that I can only attribute to me. I looked and searched to see, hey, was somebody else on this? Has someone else said this? Has anybody else published this? And I turn up with nothing. So, because the information was brought to me by my spirits, and because I see that these white folks are out here lying about said thing, I'm going to tell the truth. But not all of it, because I know white folks is watching. And as far as I know, this little bit of information hadn't been put out by anybody else. But here it turns up in this white man book. And I did challenge him. I did. I called him out by name. I'm like, hey, I'd like to know your sources for that bit of information. I'd like to know where you got that idea from. Okay? Where did you get this? Because I saw your bibliography, I saw your bibliography, and I'm familiar with a lot of them shits. And no, baby, not now one of them motherfuckers said a damn thing nowhere close to what I the fuck said. So how did you get the information, boo? My name isn't listed in your acknowledgments. It's not listed in the credits. Nowhere. My name is nowhere to be found. But yet you took information that only I have put out there. Now, have I seen other people talk on it since then? Yes. Okay. But I have the benefit of knowing when, having date stamps of when I put a certain thing out there. So you want to credit somebody that came after me? That's fine. Okay. That's fine. I anticipate this information getting out. If I didn't want the awareness spread, I wouldn't have said shit. I'd be like my folk and my family. Hush, hush. Don't talk to these people. We don't talk to to people outside our family about these things. We keep it in the house. Okay. But Spirit moved me to be vocal about our own truths, because they saw the need for us to have our truths in our lives, to push back on the bullshit that this world, this society keeps plaguing us with. This is a tool to fight our collective enemy, not each other. Folk thinking that folk ain't walking with no ancestors. They think they ain't got no spiritual cord just because they're new. Bitch. You just one stupid, raggedy ass son of a bitch if you're going to sit up there and think for a second that the people who are coming up under you, who are looking to you for guidance and spiritual awareness and truth and empowerment, won't have or can't have or do not have anything with them, which makes you feel that you got some sort of control and power over them. Okay? With which you can be out here throwing curses and hexes, fucking up women's wombs, molesting their kids and all this other shit, and getting all these black women to do dirt on other black women. Bitch, fuck you to hell and back. And all of your accomplices, all of them. I know people are like, oh, we got to hold space for this and we got to hold space for this. And well, hey, you want to fuck with them folk? You can fuck with them folk. I might like some of them, I might not like. I might know some of them, I might not know. But the truth is the motherfucking truth. And I will always stand in that part. And the truth is, justice has no friends. So you can be in alignment with this person. You can be an ally with that person. You can show love to that person because they maybe did something righteous by you. But that does not take away from the fact that if they did any motherfucking thing to harm a black child or a black mother or a black woman or a black femme or a black whatever person, okay, the wrath is the same. And you can hold grace for them all you want to. You can be, oh, let me cleanse you. Let me get you right. Let me set you right. Let me get you da-da-da. But the wrath is still coming, baby. It's still coming. And not because I said so, not because the victim said so, not because, anybody else said so. I don't give a shit what your role is in your tradition. Priest, priestess, godmother, godfather, queen, elder, mother. I don't care. The truth is the truth, and the justice is the justice, and the justice has no friends. The mothers ain't gonna bypass nobody who had a hand at dealing dirt to hurt their daughters and their daughters' children. Let's make that very motherfucking clear right now. So you can do all the ABOs you want to. You can do all the little cleansings and spiritual baths and whatever the fuck else you want to. You can do all the motherfucking divinations you want to. There's trickster energy every fucking where. And sometimes trickster energy will show up making you think you on the right track, that you may be on some shit, and that you have protected somebody that you cared about from the motherfucking wrath that's coming. Please. Trickster will trick your ass into thinking it's all good, and you can just sit back and be comfortable and rest our laurels that we are protected from what's to come. No. That's not how the law works. Okay? That isn't. Everybody want folk, well, they did this, be mad at them. They did that, be mad at them. Oh, well, they speaking out and they exposed that one. Oh, well, that one didn't speak out. She's suspect. Oh, well, she didn't do this, she did that. Well, they suspect. Fuck all that bullshit. That's just a waste of motherfucking energy. You should be doing better things with your time. Mothers see all. And anybody perpetrating against their children, their daughters, and the children of their daughters is gonna get it. I don't give a fuck. I didn't make the fucking law. That law has always been in existence, and it crosses cultures. All right? It crosses time. It crosses cultures. Every indigenous culture has their own version of the divine mothers. And just because certain particular groups talk about it more than others doesn't mean everybody else is cut the fuck off from that power. No, they're not. No, they're not. I've seen the power move before I even knew what the fuck it was. I've seen the power move against my enemies and the enemies of my family before I even knew what it was. Now, my mama has her own words for it. Okay? And it wasn't that. But after I hipped her to what's going on lately, she's like, well, I'm like, exactly, Mom. Exactly. And she's like, well, that's an old concept. That's ancient. It don't matter what you call it or what that's always been here. And the energy has always been the same. But the more people that recognize it, the more powerful and fastidious it seems to be. Okay? So when we have people that are collectively understanding certain information, it just seems like we're adding to the energy of certain divine forces. Okay? And the way that they show up in our lives just seems to be more profound than ever before. You understand? So all these folks up here on their goddamn pedestals, all these folks up here doing the shaming and the blaming game. All these folks out here getting mad and salty with this one and that one for this allegiance and that. Oh, we didn't block her. You didn't unfriend her. Oh, they still friends, so I'm not going to talk to her. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to move out of there. I've always spoken against groups. And at the risk of sounding like a hypocrite, because yes, I still have a group on the book, even though I'm no longer there. Okay? That group has to stay there a little bit longer. All right. But I made it my business to keep it small. Okay. That was intentional. Because once you start having spaces with thousands of people, by default, there's going to be some mess. By default. And that's not why the fuck we're here. We're here for the real thing. We're here for the real knowledge. We're here to connect some dots. We're here to see what it is that we're feeling or experiencing, and where do our experiences fall within the framework of the reclamation of Hoodoo. That's what my group is about. Okay? So just collecting energies and people for the purposes of earning money, I mean, Okay. I mean, we live in a capitalistic society, so I'm not shocked. Okay. I'm not shocked by it. That's just a given. That's just a given. But then moving up to the place where, oh, we want you to join our shit. For the fuck what? The fuck you need me there? Because I know individuals who got caught up in this shit who are plenty powerful in their own right. Plenty powerful. It's like, what was your powerful ass doing in some fuck shit like that? Why? I know a lot of folk are upset about the situation because people left knowing that there were abuses taking place, knowing that there was molestation of children and pedophilia and all this other fuck shit taking place. Folk left. And so, yeah, they deserve to be criticized. They deserve to be looked at sideways. They deserve to be removed from your social circles or however you see fit. It does say a lot about a black woman to be in a situation where she sees abuses and harm being carried out toward other black women and even their children, and then make their own moral decision to walk away, but not take everybody else with them. That is kind of questionable. They have their own reasons for doing so. Maybe. I'm sure fear of retaliation and guilt and shame is somewhere up in there. Okay. But when folk are all, chest thumping on social media about, I represent the black woman, I stand for the black woman, and this and that, and then be involved in some nefarious shit against black women, and then, not do a damn thing about it, but take your own ass out without taking all the black women out with you. That's just funky to me. As a black woman, I would feel some kind of way being involved in some shit like that, where somebody knew something bad was going on against my sisters and they kept it to themselves and made up some, fucking press release about why they left, but not really tell the truth, and then left me behind to fend for my fucking self. But yet they say they're for us. Like, how can you be when your actions are showing me differently? Okay. Fuck what people say, y'all. Fuck what they say. Pay attention to what the fuck they do. Okay? Because I've seen people out here capping for other people that don't deserve it. And it's no different from capping from the head main perpetrator who absolutely doesn't deserve it. So it's like, we got to stop that shit, y'all. It's not pretty. Spiritual abuse, like I said, it comes in a lot of different forms. For some people, it's financial. For some people, it can be psychological. For some people, it can be monetary. For some people, it can be sexual, and on like that. Okay? Doing things just to satisfy the leader's ego, because they're fucked up. And this is the only way they can feel good and whole and normal, is if they got folk constantly feeding and stroking their egos. And it's sad. It's sad to see people, beautiful, talented, powerful people who ought to have known better, get involved in these things that break them. Okay, everybody's broken, but not on the same level. Some folk are purely, truly, truly fucking devastated, and others are just disappointed and guilty and ashamed. It's the whole spectrum of that. But as long as nobody's telling the true truth, meaning how they had a hand in some of this shit, and they're holding their own selves accountable, and they're going straight to the ancestors and the mothers themselves without no motherfucking intermediary, and they are reaching out to the people that they have disappointed and hurt, and doing the things to make them whole. And it don't even have to be fucking public. Everybody think everything got to be public. No, the fuck it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay? Nobody needs a motherfucking audience to do the right goddamn thing, y'all. Please get that out of your head. Please get that out of your head. Okay? We don't need to all see it. It will be up to the survivor or the victim to say, hey, you know what? This person admitted that they had a hand in harming me. And this is what they did to try to rectify and repair. And then at the end of it all, we're going to run it past the spirits. We're going to run it past the ancestors. We're going to run it past the mamas. And we're going to see if they accept it. And if they don't, all that does is tell the person, hey, you need to work a little bit harder. You need to do a little bit more. You need to add more to your reparation for that victim. You need to maybe do something. Maybe you need to out yourself publicly. Maybe you need to make a statement. Maybe you got to work fucking harder, because certain types of grievances and egregious behaviors, nasty shit that's done to other black women and children, like I said before, you can't just write it off and slip it under the rug because they went to their so-called spiritual leader and got a cleansing and got it made able and did this and the fuck that, but they're still not being accountable on the real shit. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay? That's not how the fuck it works. It's because you like them because, for whatever reason. You like them because of the way they look, the way they talk, the way they present themselves. They got such a great following. Everybody admires them. They doing righteous shit. They making money, blah, blah, blah. Is that enough for some of y'all? Because it sure as fuck wouldn't be enough for me. And it's unfortunate that that's the way it is, but that's the way it fucking is. Because some of y'all got these motherfucking godparents who really aren't ready to be your godparents. And you think they're helping when they're not. They're actually digging a deeper grave for that ass. And only time will fucking tell. And if you know who these types of people are, you better stop coddling them. Stop bigging them up. Keep your distance, because when the wrath hits, you might get burnt. You might not be the intended target, but your ass might feel a little bit of that fire by proximity. Okay? The divine wrath doesn't look at, oh, well, they didn't have anything to do it. Well, they were the fuck there. They're vibing off of energy. They're exchanging energy, whether it be spiritual or monetary or transactional. All right. But if you're willing to, take hits for the people that you love and care about, then it doesn't even matter. Then so fucking be it. All right. Everybody's like, ooh, I want to be around to see it when it hits. I want to be around to see it. Look, if it was meant for you to know that shit, spirit will make a way for you to fucking see it. Okay? That's just the way spirit works. See, people say spirit led, or they're starting to say it more now. And half of the people who are putting that shit out there are liars. They're not. They pick and choose the right language to make themselves look like they know what they're talking about, because they are still trying to collect spirits. They're still trying to collect people. They're still trying to build some energy by using others for clout, monetary, spiritual, all of that. Okay? And at the end of the fucking day, it isn't righteous. It doesn't bear any fucking fruit. All right? It really doesn't. And just because somebody broke away from something and their life went for the better, or just because somebody went to somebody and got got ministered to, and now their life is changing for the better, that's good work. Yes. Okay? If you're in a situation where your energy is oppressed or being funneled and redirected for nefarious means, then yeah, you ain't gonna do so well. Okay? You might not feel so good. Your plans may blow up and fall apart. Bad luck just seems to follow you wherever you go. And then you remove yourself from the situation. That might be all it took for you. Only your spirits will know that. But for other people, they might need more help. Okay? They might need extra spiritual help. So everybody ain't going to be involved in the same way. Everybody's not going to be impacted negatively or positively, for that matter, in the same way. All right? So the takeaway from all of that is stop esteeming people on the internet, including my ass. Okay? I say and do things that might be questionable or disturbing. Okay? And that might make you feel like you need to walk away, and stop listening and tuning in or whatever the fuck. And that's fine. It has happened before. All right? We're all human beings, I guess is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. We're all human beings. And that's the thing I think people kind of get oblivious to, you know. They don't look at the human flaw, right? The human flaw that fucks with people's character, behavior. It undermines their integrity and moral code. It can happen to the best of us, all right? So you being the conscientious one, you being the one with good discernment, you being the one, you know, that knows how to read energy, and you dodge that bullet, just understand it doesn't necessarily make you better than the other individual that didn't. Okay? It is what the fuck it is. You did not allow yourself to latch on to some bullshit. That's all that means. That's it. It doesn't have any fucking effect on the people who did allow themselves to fall into the shit. Because, you know, they saw certain individuals in a very admirable way. They saw someone they thought was upstanding and had good ethics and morals and good character. And so they trusted the people who they vouched for, you know. That happens, all right? But again, this goes back to we don't all do the internet the same, all right? When I was on Twitter, I used to see a lot of people's bios. I don't think I ever wrote this in my Twitter bio, but I used to follow people who used to have bios that read, retweets are not endorsements, okay? And I just never understood why they have to put that disclaimer up there. But now that I see that there are individuals out there that would, in fact, take a retweet as an endorsement of said individual, now that I see there are people who will look at a Facebook friends list, and if someone pops up on that list, that means, oh, you condone their bad behavior. You are endorsing it in some level or another, you know. Even if we work projects with other people, oh, well, you are endorsing their, you know, because they might not be the best people. And you find out, and it's like, you know, there's a lot of that bullshit going on. And all I can say to that is, you know, maybe it's a generational thing. Like I said before, you know, y'all put way more esteem into things that I don't. But what's not going to change is how I look at it for myself. You're not going to convince me that I'm wrong at not putting the same esteem on people that I've never met in fucking person before, that I've never broken bread with, that's never been to my house, or I've never been to theirs, you know. And I just think the internet in of itself, it has got a lot of younger people oblivious to that type of reality. It's like we can make bona fide real relationships built on trust and honesty with strangers on the internet. I don't do that. Okay? I can't. All right? I'm just going to keep my bar low. And that might sound funky as hell, but it's worked for me. All right? To keep my bar low. Now, sometimes I put the bar a little too high, and then I end up getting fucking disappointed. I end up getting my motherfucking feelings hurt because I want more for the person that they want than they want for themselves in the moment. That's something that has been a consistent burden in my life. And it's something that my own mama had to tell me, you need to stop doing that, honey. You got to stop wanting more for people than they want for themselves. Okay? You can give them what they need in the moment and then let them go. And if it's meant for them, they'll be able to recognize it and appreciate it when it's time for them to do so. Okay? And that's the truth from the elders, y'all. That's the truth from my elder. You know, keep your bar low. Okay? Keep your expectations for others low. And if you do that, you can't get hurt or disappointed and totally gutted. Okay? Take things people say with a grain of motherfucking salt, including me. take things that, because that's the only way we can be protected. That's the only way that we can really shield ourselves from nonsense and foolishness. Okay? So on that note, I'm going to close this episode. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I was going to talk about on my final episodes. I didn't know how many parts the final episode was going to be, but Spirit said, hey, this is it. This is all that needed to be said, and now we are done. So now it's time to say goodbye to all my family. Those of you of a certain age will know what that's from. But yeah, y'all, it's time to say goodbye on this chapter of my creative content, of my, media platform. Mama Rue's Ancestral Musings has come to an end. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in, who were able to learn, make some sense out of some things. Maybe it inspired you to get on your own path in the beginning way, or maybe if you had already been on it, maybe it inspired you to take a different course that may have proved more beneficial for you. At this moment, I'd like to shout out all the members of Walking the Dakanga, the teaching collective, Walking the Dakanga. Shout out to you, because y'all are doing the damn thing. And that's all I ever wanted. That's all I ever wanted, was for the Hoodoo truth to get out there. And you guys have been doing it, not just on the internet, but out in the real fucking world where it matters. You're changing the world. You really, truly are. And you're making it better for all our future generations. Okay? And even for folks who aren't a part of that collective, who are still doing the same thing, I keep you in my thoughts and prayers always. Some of you are just, the next generations will be talking about you. The next generations will be honoring you. The next generations are going to be lighting candles in your name, making prayers to be graced by you. You guys have no idea of what you're establishing in the here and the right now. And the righteous elements of it are here forever. What we are building and reclaiming in this moment in time is forever. And no one will take it away from us ever again. So this is Mama Rue telling you, I wish you love, peace, and powerful juju. Take care, everybody.